for people who might not be here. We are in week 3 of this class, and and I'm at a and here's my emotional check-in with you today. See this interesting diagram? It shows people in various stages of crossing a bridge. Why don't you use your digital annotation tool? Use your digital annotation tool and place yourself somewhere on the bridge. So you remember how to use that digital annotation tool. You go up to the top of your Zoom and you look for the button. There we go. Somebody's already circled number 12, number 6. I'm gonna do, let's see now, which one should I do? I'm gonna try, right now I am feeling, let's see. I also think that the high wire of 12 is where I am. Now, Nikki, I see you have circled and underline number 9. That person is not sure. Talk to us about why you circled number 9, please.
Okay. Well, I don't know. He seemed seems kind of lost.
Yeah.
Halfway in the middle of, I don't know, baffled, worried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. How about number 6, Anna? Why did you circle that one?
I'm taking a rest. I finished my work with our webinar. I had a great night with Kelly and the collaboration was great. We enjoyed it a lot. My day today was rather cool. So I'm sitting and looking forward to crossing the bridge again.
Nice. You are taking a rest, but you will be back on the bridge soon. Beautiful. Now, who put all those beautiful hearts next to number 15? Talk to us about why you chose number 15.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I chose it because although I am back home, I still have, my day is not over yet, so I have to keep going. So I have the impression that this guy over there is almost to the end of the bridge, but still keeps walking.
That's beautiful. What a great description. I see Espy has identified herself as number 1. Do you see her over there on the left-hand side? Espy, talk to us about why you chose that one.
Because we had a discussion with Anna just before the meeting. So I just thinking that we are at the beginning of the school year, just 2 or 3 weeks. So it's like the beginning of the bridge. We know that the direction is there, but we have just started with just an impression of what is going to happen, something like that.
Oh, that's a great point of view. Yes, the bridge is really symbolizing for you the whole school year. And we are really only at the beginning. It's true. And so many new questions will emerge as we move forward. Now, I see number 10 and 10, and I see a circle. Who has circled number 10 and why?
I did. I'm Dimitris. I think there's a question mark above number 10. So the truth is that I feel like we've lost our orientation, where to go, to move forward, to go back. We don't know what to do the times we live in. So that's why I circled it.
Beautiful. What a great description. Thank you for sharing. And how about number 12 on the high wire? There's a couple of people who circled number 12. Why?
One of them is me, Karilaos. It's the unstable, as we call it in physics, the unstable equilibrium, which means we are halfway there, things are progressing, but they have 2 choices. Either you are going to fall and get perished, or you are going to fall in the side of the bridge and get saved. let's hope the second thing will happen. But until late night tonight, a lot of work has to be done. And that's the issue.
Yes.
Nobody knows.
Unstable equilibrium. What a powerful way to describe the psychological feelings of teaching in COVID. Would anybody else on the call like to comment on a character they most identify with in this bridge?
Hi there, I'm Lisa. I circled number 11, but you can't see that as I can understand. Okay, anyway, I chose to be in the middle of the bridge because I am like my partner Dimitris. I don't know where to go. Should I go left? Should I go right? Should I correct this class's test? Should I prepare the lesson for that class? So I'm still searching my way, and I hope I'll find it till the end of the day.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Is there anyone else who would like to put themselves on the board? Describe what is your mood today? Hi.
Hi, it's Mary, and I added a heart to 15 because yesterday, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my connection is unstable. Yesterday was a very, very long day. So today, even though I have things to do, I'm still going to take some time and do things that basically I like today and continue with the rest of it tomorrow.
What a good way to take care of yourself and take care of your mental health. This is wise advice you are giving yourself, but also you are giving everyone else, right? We can all benefit from that idea. I wonder if your students had to put themselves on the chart, where they would put themselves. This is just a thought experiment. We won't do this, but consider, where are your students on this chart? That might be worth thinking about and even asking them. Okay, so what's next? I want to, what is going wrong with my, oh, I know. When you are annotating, when you have your annotating button on, all you can do is annotate. Not a good thing. How about that? Look at that. And I can clear those annotations. Let me see if I can try to do that. Oh, I know. If I stop share and then I start share again, all the things we have to do to learn to use Zoom, you know, it's just unbelievable. So this week when you read chapter 1, you came to understand the idea, big ideas in this book, the importance of widening the range of genres that we use for students to express their developing knowledge and understanding, the power of inspiring creative collaboration, and the idea of showing evidence of learning, assessing student learning, using something that's not a test, right? Using other ways. So I was really pleased to be able to demonstrate to you how I gave you feedback last week, and I invite you to take a look at my Flipgrid response, thinking about new ways of providing feedback and assessing student learning that are not a test, right? And I have to say that I found your comments on the Kami for Chrome, your collaborative reading of chapter 1, to be very insightful. You know what's so beautiful about having a community of readers is the way in which it creates new ideas. So as I read your comments on my writing, it created new ideas for me, right? So as I read your threads, I realized inquiry pedagogies do not align with content-focused, exam-based education. I don't say that explicitly in the article, but you made that connection very clear. You pointed out that the speed of information challenges everyone's attentional skills and their ability to focus. And this is a very significant insight. You also commented on the digital gaps, right, that are present in the digital gaps that are present in creating a lot of anxiety for teachers, right? So that anxiety is real, and sometimes it is debilitating, you know, it kind of reduces our creativity. You talked about how online people may read shallowly or become obsessed and try to make others share their beliefs at any cost. And of course, Kami for Chrome is kind of designed to be an antidote to encourage deeper reading, right? And and creating respect for different interpretations. You pointed out this Susan, really interesting idea. Do students need to get basic skills through listening and reading before learning through creating, or can you dive straight into creating? This is a great research question, and there is a research literature that addresses this very phenomenon, and the answer is, it depends. It's a complicated question. Then this really nice point, some teachers may have a fear of sharing that may be rooted in the traditional function of school as a means of evaluating and judging people. You know, when John Dewey wrote his landmark philosophical work on education now more than 100 years ago, he understood that school is sometimes used as a means of social control, right? A way to separate the sheep from the goats, a way to maintain power in the hands of an elite few. And he fought against that. But it's really true that sometimes we think about school and schooling as a place of evaluation and judgment, and then it's reasonable to be afraid. It's reasonable to be, if school is like that, it's reasonable to be afraid of sharing. And so the implications of the shift away from this philosophy it's truly radical, right? So I want to talk a little bit about how the create to learn pedagogies that I'm demonstrating with digital authorship and inquiry learning are really different than standard academic practice. This is what I experienced as a learner myself in K through 16. The content was controlled by the teacher. The format was generally a written essay or a written exam. The teacher controlled all the actions, all the steps in the process that I took, and I was producing work really for the teacher, right? That's standard academic practice all over the world. But when teachers solve all the problems, control all the decisions, then students' job is really to watch and imitate. And of course, we teachers, we are very good at that. That's why we're teachers, right? We got good grades, right? We were good at watching and imitating. I was very, very good at it. I didn't ever get a B. My lowest grade ever, a B+, was in my advanced statistics class at Harvard. Okay. And I was heartbroken. My God, a B+, that's practically failing, right? Because I was very, very good at watching and imitating. But as you discovered this week, when kids create, when they make choices, when they experiment and get messy with the process of creating media, then in some ways a different paradigm emerges. So I talk about the tension in my Create to Learn book. I explain a little bit about the balance between creative freedom and creative control, right? In fact, creativity flourishes under some constraint, right? So one alternative paradigm for thinking about how students produce work to demonstrate their learning, it goes like this. The course content is the course content. The teacher may allow the students to decide what the format is. Is it a written essay? Is it an exam? Is it a podcast? Is it a slide? Is it a sentence? Is it annotation? Students work under deadline pressure, and then maybe the audience may change. Maybe the task is to produce something for your family members, or for your friends, or for your coworkers, or for your future employers, or for the world, a public audience. So broadening the audience beyond just producing work for the teacher. right? Even that simple shift, the literature has shown to us in giving students an authentic audience of real people changes the way they approach a task, any task. So in the way of thinking about this tension between freedom, creative freedom and creative control, you experienced this past week messy engagement, because the process of developing ideas, making choices, and creating can be chaotic in the beginning. Can you give me a thumbs up if you experienced some chaos during the messy engagement of creating your work with your partner? Yeah, of course, absolutely, of course. The chaos is absolutely part of the process. So in some ways, when we're thinking about the needs of students, we want to figure out how to balance, how to scaffold the creative freedom that creates motivation and engagement and that really allows kids to demonstrate their knowledge with creative control. And this is the graphic that describes the assignment that I made for you. Now I am revealing it to you. I made you have a conversation about the pedagogies of digital authorship, right? So I controlled, me, the teacher, I controlled your content. You were assigned to respond to a set of questions, and that was the content. The format, well, I suggested that you use video, screencast, or moving image media, but as you can see, you made many creative choices within that constraint, right? So you solved that problem in a unique way. I controlled the process. I asked you to work with a partner. And although I never said it, you knew you were creating for me and for the whole class, right? So this assignment had a blend of creative freedom and creative control. And a big part of the instructional design for using digital authorship and inquiry paradigms is finding that balance of freedom and creative control. So I was so overwhelmed. I watched quickly, and now I will come back this week and watch more deeply and give you some feedback, but you solved the problem in such interesting ways, and the ideas that emerged from your discussion were really powerful and push my own thinking forward, right? So I guess you probably understand by now that it's not about using the tools. It's about creating learning experiences that enable students to activate intellectual curiosity and develop competencies for work, life, and citizenship. And to do that, it involves moving through a messy process of making choices, experimenting, and creating. If it's successful, people own their learning. And it also creates strong, positive feelings of accomplishment. So now, your discussion question to work in small groups is this: what kinds of things can happen when teachers become co-learners alongside their students? When teachers are no longer experts, but are learning right alongside their students. In your discussion, I want to be sure that you include the wonderful, the good, the bad, and the truly ugly or dangerous. What kinds of things can happen when teachers become co-learners alongside with their students? Now, for this activity, I'm going to invite you to use the Jamboard. And so let me put the link to the Jamboard into the chat so that you can click on it. Here's the link to the Jamboard. Open up the chat, go down to the bottom of the screen and open up the chat, and give me a thumbs up when you have opened up that link. Okay. I see some thumbs up. I see, oh, look at all the thumbs. It's so cute. If you have the gallery view on, the speakers, you guys have put up your symbolic thumbs. It's beautiful. Okay, so you can see from the activity what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to break you into small groups. I've got the question. The focus question is the yellow sticky. What kinds of things can happen when teachers become co-learners alongside their students? The wonderful, the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm going to invite you to use the Jamboard. It's pretty easy to use. You can see I've, oh, hold on here. Let me go to the Jamboard. I didn't do that, did I? I got to go to the Jamboard myself, right? You simply drag the content in. If you use a sticky note, it works like this, right? And you and your partner might use one of these different boards. See how I'm clicking up here at the top? I've got 6 boards. So use the whole space. Find a way to document your process, right? Document your process. You might want to use this approach. If I'm dealing with very young learners, I need to scaffold how they collaborate. Maybe you'll write out your answer first, and then you'll read the answers of the group members, and maybe then you'll ask questions and comment on the good ideas, and maybe then you'll generate new ideas through discussion. We're only going to take about 8 or 9 minutes for this activity. Are you ready? I think you are. So I am opening up the breakout rooms. I'm going to break you into 4 groups of 4 people. Have a great conversation, and I'll see you back here in the big room in about 9 minutes.
Τώρα δεν υπάρχει. Όταν το έχει αυτή, έχει μια μπάρα πάνω-πάνω.
Δεν βγαίνει σε μένα, δεν μπορώ να καταλάβω.
Ναι, ούτε εμένα. Παρόλο που πάω το ποντίκι πάνω, δεν το έχω καταφέρει καμία μέρα αυτό, αλλά εντάξει, δεν πειράζει.
Δηλαδή έχει μια...
Εντάξει. Δεν ξέρω πώς πρέπει να έχουμε κατεβάσει κάτι.
Όχι,
δεν ξέρω, τέλος πάντων.
Εγώ είμαι στην εφαρμογή του Zoom, ίσως γι' αυτό. Δεν ξέρω, είστε...
Ναι, εγώ όχι, δεν είμαι από την εφαρμογή του Zoom, γι' αυτό μάλλον.
Okay, μπαίνω από το browser, κατευθείαν μάλλον.
Ναι, μπορεί. Στο Zoom, αν το έχετε το Zoom, έχει βγάζει μια μπάρα από πάνω. Γιατί
αυτό φαντάστηκα κι εγώ, αλλά το σκέφτηκα σήμερα. Τέλος πάντων. Λοιπόν...
Πρέπει να γράψουμε. Πώς πρέπει να γίνει, τι καταλάβατε.
Εγώ έχω ανοίξει μια σελίδα με το σύνδεσμο αυτό.
Ναι.
Και έχει sticky notes. Τα οποία αυτά είναι για τον καθένα. Εγώ, ας πούμε, έχω το κίτρινο. Και εσείς έχετε άλλο χρώμα.
Νομίζω όλοι
δηλαδή,
έχουμε.
Όλα
κίτρινα είναι. Μπορεί απλά να αλλάξουμε το χρώμα αν θέλουμε ο καθένας. Δηλαδή να διαλέξει ο καθένας ένα χρώμα.
Εγώ, συγγνώμη, τώρα αυτό που έγραψα το βλέπετε εσείς.
Το FDL
το
αυτό.
Wonderful Things Happen.
Ναι, το βλέπουμε, ναι.
Το Hi.
Ναι.
Είμαστε στο πρώτο.
Και πώς ανοίγεις αυτό?
Όχι, το Wonderful Things Happen βλέπω εγώ.
Το πήγα ναι, γιατί άνοιξα αυτό το κίτρινο. Το πάτησα και το άνοιξα.
Ναι, βλέπω ότι κάνετε αλλαγές.
Ναι, άρα...
Βλέπω live εγώ τις αλλαγές τώρα, ας πούμε.
Όλοι κάνουμε...
όλοι κάνουμε comment πάνω. Ναι, μπορούμε να κάνουμε comment πάνω.
Και πώς ανοίγουμε ένα τέτοιο καρτελάκι?
Κάτω στο chat που είχε έδωσε ένα link η Ρενέ. Αν το πατήσετε αυτό...
Έχω ανοίξει το link, έχω μπει μέσα, αλλά πώς προσθέτεις...
αριστερά στο αυτό το πραγματάκι έχει ένα σαν χαρτί που είναι. Έχει ένα βελάκι και από κάτω έχει ένα χαρτί.
Ναι. Οκ. Διαλέγω και εγώ το ροζ. Φαίνεται.
Ναι.
Εδώ, λοιπόν, άρα έχουμε κίτρινο, ροζ και το μπλε.
Και το πράσινο.
Ροζ έβαλα.
Ωραία, θα πάρω εγώ το πράσινο. Τι πρέπει τώρα, πρέπει να κάνουμε conversation και μετά να απαντήσουμε. Ποια είναι η...
Συζητώντας ό,τι ιδέα μας έρθει, αν έχουμε ήδη κάτι, εγώ έτσι το κατάλαβα.
Okay, it looks like you're back. Wow. You know what I love about using Jamboard for small group discussions is I have a high degree of confidence in you being accountable to performing the task. Why? Because I can see whether you're doing it or not. Right? I can monitor the activity, and that's what I was doing. I was monitoring the activity. I was fascinated to see each team as you solved the problem, thinking about the wonderful, the good, the bad, and the ugly that can happen when teachers become co-learners alongside their students. How fascinating to see that you were able to struggle and figure out how to use this tool, even though I did no teaching. I did not teach you how to use this tool, but you found it out, right? Yes, you did. I'm so proud. Thank you so much for participating in that great discussion. Now I only have 20 minutes to talk to you about what's happening next, right? So I guess what I'll do is I'll go here to week 3. Week 3's theme, collaborate and create. I'll expand everything and I'll overview what you're going to do between this week and next week. It's going to be fun. Okay, so the first thing that I'd like you to do is take some time to watch the short discussion videos that we created on the Padlet wall. See which ideas and points of view stretch your thinking or connect with your experience. Reflect on the creative choices made by each team, because we have so much to learn from each other. Next, I'd like you to do some listening. Although this looks like a video, it's really a podcast. This podcast episode is from the Good Life Project, and it features Joshua Schenk on creative collaboration. You can listen to the whole podcast or just a part. As you listen, reflect on your own life experiences with creative collaboration. Consider how you could design a learning experience that creates opportunities for creative collaboration. Joshua Schenk is the author of a wonderful book called The Powers of Two, and he looks at creative collaboration throughout history, in science, in art, in literature, and he tells the stories of people like, for example, the Lennon-McCartney duo in the Beatles, right? And many other, the Crick and Watson creative collaboration in science. And he analyzes how important and essential creative collaboration is to all advancement of knowledge. Okay, so then we'll do some reading that invites us to think about sensitivity to socio-emotional dimensions of learning. And we'll read an article I wrote called Improvisation and Strategic Risk-Taking in Informal Learning with Digital Media Literacy. Read about a teacher who found a teachable moment and used it to launch an inquiry project that resulted in elementary school students creating a 10-page digital comic book on homelessness. Use the Cami for Chrome to read and annotate the article. As you read, consider these issues. Notice how the improvisational decision to use the teachable moment to structure instruction was predicated on the teacher's openness to address children's naive, difficult, uncomfortable, and unexpected questions. Pay attention to how the teacher emphasized a clear focus on the research and information gathering phases of the production process. And reflect on how the teacher made use of child partner teams in the process of writing, creative media production, feedback, and revision. So in this project, I'd like you to make one annotation to comment on the ideas you encounter in the article and respond to the comment of one of your peers. You're really good at Cami for Chrome now, so that one should be fun. After you've done your watching, your listening, and your reading, it's time for discussion. Select one or more of these questions below and respond in a threaded discussion. We're really asking questions about how your own creativity gets activated, why creative media activities have messy engagement in them, how you've experienced messy engagement and how you've experienced the power of two, and then how your students have experienced these things, right? So now, play with digital platforms. Devote 1 hour with one or more of these tools. Play with them. It's obvious that your last week's play was very, very productive, as is evidenced from what you created. But now we begin a 2-week process of creating. This week, you don't have a product to create because we're beginning with your final project in the mind. So you should go to 4.2, skip ahead and see what is the final project that we're going to do. Because essentially what's going to happen is by October 13th, you and your partner will create some form of digital media that enables you to implement a create to learn activity with your own students. In this week, we start the brainstorming process. Unleash your creativity, consider possibilities for a small creative media project that you could develop with a class partner in just 2 weeks. Now, your first work is to find your partner. It might be somebody you've already worked with, or it might be a new partner. Find your partner and decide which form of collaboration is best for you. Perhaps you and your partner will work together on all aspects of the project from start to finish. But that's only one form of collaboration. Perhaps you will pursue a similar plan. Maybe your topics and themes will be aligned, but each of you will create a unique media project for your own work context. That's another form of collaboration. Or you may also partner up with a collaborator who's primarily a thought partner. In this approach, you each create your own individual work, and your partner offers feedback and helpful ideas. We've found that all 3 of these forms of collaboration unleash creativity using the principle of the power of 2. And this is a decision that sort of evolves over time. Now, perhaps you've already found a partner and you know somebody you want to work with. And if not, go to the Padlet wall and compose a classified ad where you describe your interests and ideas for a project and see if there's someone else who might want to work with you on that or is similar, has a similar interest, right? So that's how you can find a partner if you haven't already found one. Of course, I'd like you to watch this video to take a look at the brainstorming process. And why don't we skip ahead to see what's coming after that, so you can kind of get a sense of where you're going, right? So next week, we're going to really get in the weeds about the projects that you are developing. That's what we're going to do next week. And essentially, here's the 4.2 is the specifications for your project. This is what I'm expecting. This is my way of putting some creative control over this project. You can't just do anything, right? You have to create a plan, visualize how the activity will begin, and consider the steps in the process. Use any kind of brainstorming process or digital tool that works best for you and your partner. If you like, you can use a lesson plan structure that's familiar to you. As you develop this plan, keep in mind what you've learned about the creative process and the power of 2, key features of project-based inquiry learning, strategic improvisation and risk-taking, the digital tools and platforms that are most appropriate for the learning outcomes you intend to advance with this project, and assessing both the process that students use to create, and the product. So you can see your plan is hopefully going to integrate some of the ideas that we've been learning in this program. Then you need to create at least one form of media that you can use to implement a create to learn project with your students. Now, will it be a video introduction to the project, an example of a student finished product as a mentor text or exemplar, or will it be something else? I don't know. This is where you have some creative freedom to create at least one form of media that you can use to implement your create to learn lesson plan or curriculum. As you create your project, think about what form of digital media is needed. Where and how will it be used? When will it be used? Who will become engaged with it, and indirectly and directly, and how will it be remembered? So when you struggle with all these decisions, you can involve your partner, you can work on your own, and we're going to use this discussion group too, right? So in this discussion group might be where you can do some brainstorming, and we can respond to you. So here's an opportunity to put your ideas down on paper and get some feedback. On October 13th, you will post a link to your completed work on the Padlet wall. Be sure to give your project a title and check to see that both your partners' names are visible. This this finished work might have multiple things in it. And so next week, we'll talk more about how can you create one place where let's say you create a written plan and you create a media product, maybe your partner creates something. How can you put it all together? That will be our focus for next week. Now we have 8 minutes for questions, because the best way to wrap your head around this project is to ask me questions. What questions do you have? Yeah.
I ask, okay, you are using Zoom. Okay. Are these applications compatible with other platforms like Teams, Microsoft Teams? I don't know if that might be a stupid question.
I am not exactly sure what you mean, but yes, I'll answer it by saying it's not about the tools. And you are free in this project to use any tools you want. You are not required. You might want to build your whole project just around Jamboard. We just used that a few minutes ago, and you might go, wow, that's so cool. I want my whole project to have students make and use slides on Jamboard. Fine. You might want to use Zoom. You might want to use Meet. You might want to use Whereby. You might want to use Biteable. I think some people really like Biteable. I myself am a big fan of Adobe Spark, and next week I'm going to be showing you how you can use Adobe Spark. So you are completely free on whatever tools you want to use. I don't care what tools you use, as long as your students get a chance to create with whatever tools you think will help you accomplish your learning goals. I don't know if I answered your question or if it maybe made you think of another question.
Okay, I mean, can we share it through other platforms? What you did, if we can do using Microsoft Teams, or just...
Sure.
That's feasible. This is
yes, absolutely.
Okay. Jamboard, for instance, or the breakout rooms.
How about that? Yeah. So I've been modeling a lot of practices, right? And so you might want to imitate or try out one of the practices I've been modeling, but I could see from the conversations that you're developing some of your own ideas as well. But yes, maybe you'll do a partner dialogue activity, just like I made you do, right? With your own students. Just try that. See, like, what could my students talk about? And how could I structure that sequence? Like, you guys did it easily because you're grown-ups, right? With younger kids, there might be you have to think through. If you were to recreate the activity I made you do last week, what would be different? Thinking that through could be very productive. Who's got another question? Eleni, put your microphone on.
Yeah, okay. Now I guess you can hear me.
Yes.
So my question is the following. I was thinking what to do with my students, and one idea was, for example, to give them a small project and then tell them to write some things on Padlet, for example, and then I could use what they write on Padlet and create a short video on Movely, and that would be something that I could present, or?
That sounds like a wonderful idea. I see how you're thinking about students do something and you do something, right? That's a very cool way to think about it. Who's got another question? Or maybe just an idea you want to float and see, am I on the right
have
track?
a question.
Yeah.
The techniques that you've been using in this seminar, I mean, like we said, the breakup room and Jamboard, which I really liked as well. Will we know how we can be moderators to those tools? Will we have access to them?
So Zoom is free for anyone. If your lesson is up to 45 minutes long, the free Zoom is 45 minutes. And for you to learn how to use Zoom, you'd probably have to practice it, right? And same with Jamboard. Jamboard, just go to jamboard.google.com. It's like, and press the start button and voila. And it would take you would have to do, remember that section we have every week where I ask you to play with the tools? It's not just play. That's where you figure it out, right? So yes, I'm not going to do a tutorial on those tools, but you're going to take the time to learn to use them more fully.
So what tool are you using for breakup rooms?
Zoom.
Okay, thanks.
Mary,
Sadly, I do have to say this, Mary, though this is going to make you feel sad. I don't know that the Breakout Rooms is available on the free version of Zoom. You know how these platforms are, right? I have a paid account through my university. And so I think that maybe, I'm not sure if the free account allows Breakout Rooms. That would be something you would have to investigate. Who's got another question or comment or an idea that's percolating that you want to just like test out? Okay, you're looking kind of freaked out. So now I'm going to ask you to do this test, right? 5 means you're cool as a cucumber. You can't wait to get started. This is a great 2-week inquiry where you get to plan something to execute with your kids that really puts them in the world of digital authorship and inquiry. And 1 is like, holy hell, are you kidding me? What number are you? Where's your temperature right now? Are you a 3, a 2, a 1, or are you 5? All the fingers up, please. Come on, own your fingers. Where are you emotionally right now with this project? This could be scary. It's the end of the day. You might be excited. You might be scared. You might be freaked out. I see Charlie else is like in between 2 and 3 because he's a math guy. It can't be an integer, right? Great. All right. I have confidence that you are going to... Divisions. I have confidence that you are going to struggle with the messy engagement this week. I've already prepared you for that, right? It's going to feel a little chaotic. And that bridge, you're going to be uncertain, right? And you're not going to be sure. And just be cool with that. Wrestle with the creative process. And I'll see you next week. Know that you can contact me by email if you have any questions, if you want some guidance. I'm happy. I'm here for you all the time. But I'll see you next Tuesday. All right. Let's wave goodbye. Goodbye.